Welcome to English Unleashed. Forget those boring grammar quizzes. Forget the stress of trying to fit into a box. Because today, we're not just testing your English, we are challenging your potential. For years, you've probably wondered, what is my true English level? Today, you find out. In this special episode, you will travel through 6 complete levels of English mastery, from the absolute basics of A1 to the poetic fluency of C2. You will hear 6 real hello. Welcome to Level A1. Listen carefully. I am Tom. I live in a big city. Every morning, my alarm clock rings at 7 o'clock. I wake up. I am tired, but I get up quickly. First, I go to the bathroom. I wash my face with cold water. It is good. Then I brush my teeth. My teeth are clean. Next, I go to the kitchen. I make coffee. I like black coffee. I drink the coffee slowly. I eat a small apple. I read the newspaper on my phone. The news is interesting. At 8 o'clock, I put on my blue jacket. I take my small bag. I say goodbye to my cat, Leo. I walk to the train station. It is a long walk, about 10 minutes. I wait for the train. The train is always full. I work at an office. My job is good. I like my colleagues. We start work at 9. I think about the day. It is a busy day. I am ready. This is my simple morning routine. Think now. How much did you understand? 70%? 90%? If you understood most of the story, your English is at least A1. Now we go to level A2. Welcome to level A2. This time, I will tell you about my last holiday. Last summer, I decided to visit a new place. I chose Edinburgh in Scotland. I didn't want to travel alone, so I asked my friend, Lisa. Lisa said yes immediately. We booked the flight and a small, nice hotel near the old town. The flight was long, but it was comfortable. When we arrived, it was raining. This was normal for Scotland. First, we went to the hotel and unpacked our bags. Then we walked to the city center. We saw Edinburgh Castle on a big hill. It looked very old and impressive. We took many photos. On the second day, we visited a museum. The museum was about Scottish history. We learned about kings and queens. Lisa bought a souvenir, a small sheep toy. I didn't buy anything, but I enjoyed the atmosphere. We ate dinner in a nice little pub. I tried a traditional dish called haggis. It tasted strange, but it was interesting. We drank local beer and talked for hours. The weather improved on the third day. The sun came out. We walked up a big hill called Arthur's Seat. The view from the top was fantastic. You could see the whole city. The holiday was only 4 days, so it finished quickly. We were tired, but very happy. Next year, I am going to visit Italy. I want to see Rome and eat real pizza. Now, review your understanding. Did you follow the story easily? Did you recognize the past tense? If you understood around 80%, you are confidently at the A2 level. Let's move to level B1. Welcome to level B1. This segment is about a difficult but necessary decision I made 5 years ago. For nearly 10 years, I used to work as a financial analyst in a huge company. The salary was excellent, and I was comfortable. However, my daily routine had become monotonous. I felt like I was not using my creativity. Although I had achieved success by professional standards, I was not feeling satisfied on a personal level. I began to think seriously about changing my career. This was not a simple thought, it was a serious dilemma. I knew that if I left my stable job, my financial future might become uncertain. My colleagues said that I should think carefully because starting a new career at 35 was a big risk. My true passion has always been woodworking. I love the idea of creating physical objects with my hands. I imagined that if I could build furniture, I would be much happier. This potential for satisfaction was stronger than the fear of risk. One morning, I made the decision. I resigned from my position. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. My boss was surprised, but he wished me luck. I started by taking a short, intensive course. Subsequently, I opened a small workshop in my garage. The first year was definitely a struggle. The income was irregular, and I had to learn many new skills. Despite the challenges, my passion kept me motivated. Now, 5 years later, I am running a successful custom furniture business. If I had stayed in the office, I would have regretted the missed opportunity. I believe that although stability is important, pursuing your authentic purpose is essential for true happiness. This experience taught me that facing a short period of difficulty is worthwhile if the result is fulfilling your long-term potential. How did you find the B1 story? Did you understand the cause and effect and my personal opinions? If your comprehension was high, you are ready to use English fluently in many real-life situations. Get ready for Level B2. Welcome to Level B2, where we begin to explore more complex emotional and reflective topics. I want to tell you about a profound professional setback I experienced and how I eventually managed to come to terms with it. 3 years ago, I was entrusted with a huge client presentation, a make-or-break moment for my team. I had been working on the proposal for over 2 months, meticulously checking off every detail. I should have known, however, that overconfidence can be a crippling flaw. I ended up leaving out a crucial piece of data simply because I had overlooked a final peer review. When I delivered the presentation, everything seemed to be going smoothly. The client was nodding along, and I was genuinely starting to feel that we had pulled it off. But then the CEO pointed out the missing element. The atmosphere changed immediately. The room fell silent. I felt a terrible rush of heat rise up to my face. I knew I had let down my entire team. Later that week, my manager sat me down. He told me that while he understood the pressure, I could have easily avoided the mistake if I had stuck to the protocol. I took the feedback to heart. I realized that the technical error was merely a symptom of a deeper issue, a lack of disciplined process. I had let my ego get ahead of my due diligence. The experience taught me a significant lesson. I had to face up to the fact that failure is inevitable, but the reaction to it is entirely discretionary. I could have just packed up and given up, but instead I decided to figure out exactly where I had gone wrong. I made a conscious effort to implement a new stringent review system. Consequently, the next few presentations I carried out were flawless. The setback forced me to break down my working methods and build them up again, making them stronger. The failure, as it turned out, was not the end but the catalyst for genuine improvement. How did you navigate the flow and the phrasal verbs in this B2 story? If you grasp the emotional nuance and the complexity of the sentences, you are fluent and can communicate effectively in demanding situations. Now, prepare for the rigorous C1 level. Welcome to Level C1. Our focus now shifts from personal narrative to the interrogation of abstract and professional concepts. We will discuss the imperative of visionary leadership. In essence, effective leadership is predicated upon an individual's capacity to synthesize strategic foresight with an acute understanding of human psychology. Not only is the ability to articulate a compelling vision crucial, but equally so is the unwavering commitment to fostering a culture of accountability. This synergistic confluence is arguably the very hallmark of managerial success. The fundamental challenge for any incumbent leader is the transition from tactical management to strategic stewardship. Seldom does a leader achieve true longevity without first undergoing this cognitive metamorphosis. A tactical manager is preoccupied with the immediate execution of tasks, whereas a visionary is concerned with the epistemological underpinnings of the entire enterprise. Consider, for example, the concept of organizational resilience. It is insufficient for a leader to merely advocate for stability. They must actively embed a system whereby the organization is capable of weathering unforeseen turbulence. This necessitates the delegation of both authority and responsibility to the lower echelons, thereby cultivating a distributed sense of ownership. In no instance can a truly resilient organization be maintained by a single autocratic figurehead. Furthermore, effective communication at the C1 level is characterized by nominalization. Instead of saying leaders must communicate effectively, we note that effective communication is an indispensable prerequisite. This stylistic shift lends the discourse a greater sense of gravitas and formality. The consequences of visionary deficit are often manifested in organizational stagnation. When a leader fails to articulate a compelling long-term goal, the staff are invariably resigned to performing their duties without a sense of ultimate purpose. Conversely, by providing a clear aspirational target, the leader transmutes routine tasks into contributions to a grander narrative. It is this transformation of daily activity into meaningful action that distinguishes the competent manager from the truly inspirational leader. How did you fend off the academic language and the complex structures of C1? If you followed the analytical flow with ease, you have reached a near-native command of professional and academic English. Congratulations! Now let us conclude with the supreme challenge, Level C2. Welcome to the final, most challenging segment, Level C2. Here the language assumes an epistemological and poetic quality, demanding a mastery of nuance and idiom. We shall contemplate the existential dilemma posed by the paradox of time. Seldom does the average person truly contemplate the ineluctable passage of time, which is simultaneously our most ubiquitous companion and our most elusive phenomenon. The experience of human consciousness is, in essence, a perpetual state of becoming, whereby the immutable past is perpetually transmuted into an unfolding potentiality. It is this very ontological complexity that defines our subjective reality. The perception of time is often rendered paradoxical by our very reliance upon it. Notwithstanding the rigid, linear precision of the chronometer, our internal perception is profoundly malleable. Would that we could hold fast to the moments of profound joy? Would that we might hasten the moments of inevitable sorrow? Such is the inherent tragedy of our temporal existence. The phenomenon of memory is inextricably linked to this paradox. Memory is not a mere historical archive. It is a selective, volitional act of recreation. We do not simply recall the past, we reauthor it, subtly adjusting the tenor and emphasis to suit our present psychological imperative. Thus, the past is never truly gone. It is continually being revised and reintegrated into the present, culminating in the narrative we call self. To have fully grasped the futility of wishing for more time is to have achieved a certain philosophical peace. The true locus of human agency is not in controlling time's flow, but in the intensive cultivation of the present moment. It is only in the here and now that we can exert our volition and execute our desires. For all the complexities of our external world, ultimately all that is genuinely within our purview is the quiddity of the present. In conclusion, were we to accept that the past is irrevocably gone and the future is merely a set of probabilities, we would be compelled to embrace a radical presentism. This is where the synergistic confluence of will and desire attains its ultimate salience. Not only does this philosophical acceptance liberate us from temporal anxiety, but it also focuses our immense power upon the singular point where change is truly possible. Beidich signali ding sesi. Tom, congratulations on completing the C2 level, the highest linguistic challenge. If you grasp the philosophical analysis and follow the sophisticated, dense language, your English proficiency is near native. Thank you for taking the test. Look at your notes. Where did your comprehension drop below 80%? That is your current English level. Your next step is clear. Share your results in the comments and let us know your next target. And that concludes your journey through the 6 levels of English mastery. Take a moment now to look at your notes. Where did you first feel the language becoming a genuine challenge? Where did your understanding drop below that crucial 80% threshold? That is your current level, and more importantly, that is your next target. If you understood the C1 story but struggled with C2, your goal is clear. Immerse yourself in advanced academic English. If you comfortably understood A2 but B1 felt too fast or complex, your focus should be on intermediate vocabulary and narrative structure. Remember this: your language level is not a fixed ceiling, it is a launch pad. The fact that you completed this test proves you possess the will to win and the desire to succeed. You have found the key to your personal excellence. So, what's next? Tell us your level, drop a comment below, and let us know which level was your limit. Subscribe to English Unleashed. We create content specifically designed to push you past your current boundary and achieve your next level. Check out the video description. We have included resources and links to playlists that focus exactly on the level you need to master next. Thank you for trusting us with your English progress. Keep listening, keep challenging yourself, and keep growing. I'm Tom, and I'll see you in the next lesson.